Listen closely. This isn't just another speech. This is the moment your life breaks open. Right now, you are standing at the edge of two worlds. The life you've been settling for, and the life you were born to live. But here's the brutal truth. If you keep hitting snooze on your own potential, the world will not wait for you to wake up. By the end of this, your mindset will never be the same, because this wake-up call will hit you hard. You stand at a crossroads, a place where your circumstances stare you down, demanding you believe they own your fate, poverty, failure, rejection, or loss. These are not mere obstacles. They are the illusions that imprison your mind. But the truth, often hidden behind the noise of life, is that circumstances do not dictate who you become. Your decisions do. Think of Abraham Lincoln, a man born in a one-room log cabin, with barely a penny to his name, no formal education to speak of, and a string of failures behind him. He lost jobs, suffered business bankruptcies, and faced crushing political defeats. Yet his circumstances never defined him. What defined him was his decision, the unwavering choice to persevere, to educate himself, to pursue a vision greater than the hardship around him. His life is proof that you do not have to be a product of your environment. You can be the architect of your destiny. Psychologically, this distinction is profound. The human mind craves explanation and often finds comfort blaming external forces for internal struggles. If only my situation were different, I could succeed, many tell themselves. But this is a trap, a mental cage built on false premises. When you hand over your power to circumstances, you surrender your ability to change. True power lies in the moment you claim responsibility for your decisions. That is where freedom begins. Your brain is not a passive receiver of fate. It is an active engine of choice. Neuroscience shows us that decision-making shapes neural pathways, carving out habits, beliefs, and character. Each decision, no matter how small, rewires your future. Choosing to act despite fear, to stand up despite failure, to dream despite doubt, these decisions compound. They build momentum that shatters the chains of circumstance. Look around at the great figures of history. Nelson Mandela, who faced 27 years of imprisonment, yet chose forgiveness over bitterness. Helen Keller, deaf and blind, yet chose education and advocacy over despair. Or Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty and trauma, yet chose belief and determination. These are not stories of luck, but of deliberate decisions made in the darkest moments. Emotionally, this truth cuts deep because it means your power is always within reach. It means no matter the setbacks, no matter how many times you've fallen, you are not a victim. You are a decision maker. You can choose resilience over surrender, hope over despair, action over apathy. But this choice requires courage. It requires a refusal to let your circumstances write your story. It demands that you look in the mirror and say, I am more than what has happened to me. I am what I choose to become. This is not easy. It is a battle against the mind's tendency to find excuses. But every great success begins here, in the battlefield of choice. So today, take this as your decree. Your circumstances are merely the stage, the script, the performance, and the final act. They belong to your decisions. When you claim this truth, you do not just change your story, you become the hero of your own life. Desire is the seed, the quiet, burning ember inside your soul that whispers of something greater. But desire alone is powerless without faith, the water that nourishes this seed and transforms it into a towering tree of achievement. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This is not mere poetry. It is a law, as immutable as gravity. Desire plants the idea, but faith makes that idea alive, vibrant, unstoppable. Consider Thomas Edison, a man who faced thousands of failures in pursuit of the electric light bulb. Each failure could have extinguished his desire, yet it was his faith, unwavering, unshakable, that fueled his persistence. He believed in the reality of his vision long before the world could see it. Faith gave meaning to every setback, transforming them from obstacles into stepping stones. It was not luck or genius alone, but this sacred combination of desire and faith that illuminated the darkness. Psychologically, desire without faith is like a ship without a rudder. It moves, but it lacks direction and power. Desire ignites the mind, but faith commands the heart to act consistently, to endure hardship, and to believe beyond what the eyes can see. Faith rewires the subconscious mind, programming it to seek solutions, to recognize opportunities hidden in adversity. It creates a force field around your dreams, protecting them from doubt and fear. Emotionally, faith is a sanctuary in times of despair. It is what holds you steady when the world seems to collapse, when every rational thought screams that failure is certain. Faith is not blind optimism. It is a conscious choice to believe in your goal so deeply that your mind will conspire to make it real. It quiets the inner critic and fuels the relentless pursuit of what you desire. It turns the impossible into the inevitable. Look at Oprah Winfrey, who grew up in poverty and faced unimaginable hardships. Yet her faith in a better future never faltered. She saw beyond her circumstances, believed in her own worth, and nurtured her desire with faith that carried her from hardship to triumph. Faith gave her the strength to overcome rejection, criticism, and setbacks. Her story echoes this timeless truth. Desire plants the seed, but faith waters it into bloom. The human spirit craves this faith. It is the invisible current that pushes you to get up one more time, to take one more step, to try one more time. Without it, desire withers and dreams fade. But with faith, desire becomes a powerful force of creation. So today, ask yourself, how strong is your faith in your deepest desire? Are you watering your seed, or letting it dry and die in the drought of doubt? If you want your desire to grow, to flourish, to become reality, you must cultivate faith with every breath. Make a habit of declaring your faith aloud. Surround yourself with reminders of your belief. Feed your mind with stories of those who have turned desire into reality through faith. Remember, the moment you truly believe in your dream, beyond logic, beyond fear, you activate a power that moves mountains. Desire is the seed, but faith is the water. Together they grow the tree that bears the fruit of success. Without faith, desire is just a wish. With faith, desire becomes destiny. Fear is a lie dressed in shadows, a ghost that haunts the corners of your mind, whispering doubts and doubts alone. It is not reality, it is a story your mind tells to protect you from the unknown. Yet in this protection, fear becomes the greatest thief of opportunity and the fiercest enemy of your destiny. Napoleon Hill understood this deeply when he declared that fear is the only thing standing between you and your dreams. The moment you recognize fear for what it truly is, a shadow, not a substance, you begin to reclaim your power. Consider the story of Winston Churchill, a man who led a nation through its darkest hour during World War II. His courage was not the absence of fear, but his mastery over it. He understood fear's shape and face, but refused to let it dictate his action. Fear tried to paralyze him and his people with visions of defeat and despair. But Churchill's words, his resolve, his unyielding spirit shattered the illusion. He chose courage, and that choice altered the course of history. Psychologically, fear triggers a survival mechanism rooted deep in our ancient brains, the fight, flight, or freeze response. It is designed to protect us from immediate danger. But in modern life, this mechanism often misfires, turning everyday challenges into terrifying threats. The fear of failure, rejection, or loss becomes a prison. When you realize that fear is not a signal to stop, but a signal to move wisely forward, you break free. Fear loses its power when you see it as a passing shadow, not a permanent reality. Emotionally, fear feels heavy, a weight that suffocates dreams and paralyzes progress. It breeds hesitation, self-doubt, and endless what-ifs. Yet behind the mask of fear lies the greatest opportunity for growth. Fear is an invitation to face what you believe limits you. Every step taken in spite of fear strengthens the soul and expands your capacity to live boldly. Look at Malala Yousafzai, who faced death threats simply for seeking education. Fear stalked her every moment, but she refused to be its prisoner. Her story is a testament to what happens when courage replaces fear, when a lie dressed in shadows is stripped bare by the light of conviction. She did not deny fear, she acknowledged it, faced it, and in doing so, transformed herself and the world. Fear's grip loosens when you learn to observe it without judgment, to name it and recognize its tactics. It thrives on your silence and your surrender. Speak to your fear. Confront it with action. Every small victory over fear sends a shockwave through your mind, rewiring it to see possibility where once there was only threat. You must remember, fear is the mind's way of protecting what it knows, but growth lives in the unknown. The courage to step beyond fear is the birthplace of all success. So when fear rises like a storm within you, do not run. Stand firm, look it in the eyes, declare to yourself, you are not real, you have no power here. Because once you realize that fear is merely a shadow, the path to your greatness becomes clear. Fear is a lie dressed in shadows, but you are the light that reveals the truth. Persistence turns the impossible into I'm possible. This is not just a clever phrase. It is the very essence of every triumph in history. Every breakthrough, every invention, every great achievement is the result of one unyielding force. It is the steady drumbeat that drowns out doubt and despair, the unwavering commitment to keep moving forward when the world insists you stop. Napoleon Hill knew this well. He taught that persistence is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith and turn desire into reality. Without persistence, even the greatest dreams remain nothing but fantasies. Consider the Wright brothers. Before they conquered the skies, their workshop was filled with countless failures. Their engines failed, their planes crashed, and the world laughed at their ambition. Yet through endless trials, setbacks, and ridicule, they persisted. Each failure was not defeat, but a lesson, a stepping stone towards success. Their persistence changed human history by proving that flight was not a dream, but a reachable destination. They taught us that the impossible is only impossible until someone refuses to quit. Psychologically, persistence is a habit of the mind, forged through discipline and repetition. When you persist, you override the brain's natural inclination toward comfort and ease. You train your mind to resist the impulse to surrender when the first obstacle appears. Every act of persistence rewires your brain, building new pathways that strengthen resilience and determination. It's a mental muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Persistence is what keeps the flame of desire alive when the winds of adversity blow harsh and cold. Emotionally, persistence is a battle against discouragement and despair. It's the voice inside that says try one more time when your body screams to give up. It is hope in action, faith in motion. When Thomas Edison was asked about his thousands of failed experiments before inventing the light bulb, he famously said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. This perspective, that failure is simply a part of the journey, is the emotional armor of persistence. Look at J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. She was a single mother, struggling financially, with every reason to quit. But she persisted. Her story reminds us that success often hides behind a door labeled, try again. Persistence transforms the impossible into I'm possible by demanding you keep showing up. It does not promise an easy path, but it guarantees that those who refuse to quit will eventually find a way. It turns setbacks into comebacks and despair into victory. The key is not just effort, but consistent, deliberate effort over time. So today, when you face your challenges, remember, the difference between failure and success is persistence. It is the choice to rise one more time, to push one more step, to keep going when everyone else stops. Make persistence your daily practice. Let it be the fire that fuels your journey, because the impossible is nothing but a mountain waiting for your steady climb. Climb. Persistence turns the impossible into I'm possible. Claim that power. Your destiny depends on it. Your mind is a garden, a vast, fertile ground where thoughts are seeds, and those seeds grow into the reality you experience. This is not metaphor, it is the truth. Napoleon Hill emphasized when he said, your subconscious mind obeys the orders you give it repeatedly. What you plant, you will harvest. But too often people neglect the garden of their minds, allowing weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity to take root and choke out their dreams. The choice of what to plant is yours, and it is the most powerful decision you will ever make. Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey, a woman born into poverty and hardship. Her early life was filled with trauma and struggle, yet she chose to plant seeds of hope, faith, and self-belief. Every thought she nurtured, every affirmation she repeated, was like watering the soil of her mind. Over time, these positive seeds grew into a towering tree of success, influence, and empowerment. Oprah did not become who she is by accident. She consciously cultivated the garden of her mind. Psychologically, the brain is a pattern-seeking organ. It reinforces repeated thoughts by strengthening neural pathways. When you focus on negative thoughts, your brain becomes wired for negativity. When you choose empowering thoughts, your brain rewires itself toward confidence, creativity, and resilience. This process is called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change. You are literally sculpting your mind every time you think. The garden you tend is your mental landscape, and tending it well means planting seeds that nourish your growth. Emotionally, what you plant in your mind affects your feelings, decisions, and actions. Negative thoughts breed anxiety, fear, and paralysis. Positive thoughts foster courage, hope, and movement. Imagine your mind as a garden that either floods with sunlight or is darkened by weeds. The choice to clear the weeds, to plant nourishing seeds, and to water them daily is the choice that determines your life's harvest. This requires discipline, awareness, and the courage to reject toxic beliefs and replace them with empowering truth. Look at how Henry Ford, a pioneer of the automobile industry, believed deeply in the power of his mind. He once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." This simple yet profound truth highlights that the seeds of belief and doubt determine your success or failure. Ford's mind was a carefully tended garden of innovation, optimism, and persistence. His success came from planting and nurturing the right seeds daily. The challenge is that unwanted weeds often sneak into your garden through doubt, fear, and external negativity. But these weeds can be uprooted. You must become a vigilant gardener, consciously choosing what thoughts to entertain and which to reject. This means surrounding yourself with positive influences, practicing gratitude, and feeding your mind with inspiring stories and affirmations. So today, ask yourself, what seeds are you planting in the garden of your mind? Are they seeds of fear and doubt, or seeds of hope and belief? What will your garden look like tomorrow if you continue to plant what you have been? The power lies with you. You have the ability to cultivate a mind that grows success, joy, and fulfillment, but only if you plant with intention. Remember, your mind is a garden. Plant only what you want to grow, tend it with care, and watch your life blossom. Success requires sacrifice, a truth as old as human endeavor itself. It demands that you surrender the easy pleasures, the soothing comforts that lull the mind into complacency. Comfort is the enemy of progress, because it breeds stagnation, dulls ambition, and cloaks your true potential in a false sense of security. Napoleon Hill understood that to reach the pinnacle of achievement, you must be willing to pay the price, to exchange short-term ease for long-term greatness. Look at the story of Steve Jobs, a man who transformed entire industries but lived by this principle. Jobs famously said, "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." He gave up a comfortable life, endured setbacks, was even ousted from the company he founded, yet he sacrificed comfort to chase a vision that changed the world. His willingness to embrace discomfort, to face uncertainty, and to push beyond the boundaries of ease made him a titan of innovation. Psychologically, humans are wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. This is the survival instinct, a deeply ingrained mechanism designed to protect us from harm. But in the modern world, this instinct often traps us. When you prioritize comfort, you choose the familiar over the unfamiliar, the safe over the challenging. The mind grows lazy, creativity diminishes, and growth halts. True progress demands you rewire your brain to tolerate discomfort as a sign of growth, not threat. Sacrifice becomes a mental discipline, a commitment to endure short-term pain for long-term reward. Emotionally, sacrifice is difficult because it means letting go of what feels good now for what will benefit you later. It requires courage to say no to distractions, to delay gratification, and to endure moments of loneliness or struggle. But those who master this emotional tension harness an unstoppable force. They know that every sacrifice, missed party, extra hour of work, moment of self-discipline is a deposit in the bank of future success. Consider Michael Jordan, often hailed as the greatest basketball player of all time. His legendary work ethic involved waking up before dawn, training tirelessly, while others slept or played. His sacrifice of comfort fueled a relentless pursuit of excellence. Jordan's greatness was not just talent. It was the repeated choice to give up ease for effort, comfort for challenge. Sacrifice also means confronting your fears and doubts. It is the willingness to step into uncertainty, to risk failure, and to keep going when the path is unclear. This mental and emotional sacrifice separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is not sacrifice without reward. It is sacrifice that creates the soil in which success grows. So ask yourself, what comfort are you holding on to that's killing your dream? What are you willing to sacrifice today to step into the life you desire? This moment demands a choice. Will you settle for comfort, or will you embrace the discomfort that breeds growth? Will you stay in the warmth of the familiar, or will you step into the cold unknown to build a future worth living? Remember, success is never free. It demands sacrifice, courage, and the refusal to be complacent. Comfort is the enemy of progress, but sacrifice is the gateway to greatness. When you embrace sacrifice, you don't just survive, you thrive. You are the architect of your own destiny. This truth is as empowering as it is humbling. Too often people wander through life, blaming fate, luck, or circumstance for their failures and disappointment. But Napoleon Hill teaches us that the only true master of your fate is you. The blueprint of your future is drawn by the choices you make today. Your thoughts, decisions, and actions are the tools with which you build the life you desire, or the life you resign yourself to endure. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela. Imprisoned for 27 years, confined within cold walls and harsh conditions, many would have surrendered to despair. Yet Mandela understood that even behind bars, he held the power to design his destiny. He chose forgiveness over bitterness, hope over despair, and vision over limitation. By shaping his thoughts and decisions, he laid the foundation for a nation's freedom. His destiny was not given to him. It was crafted with intention, resilience, and unwavering belief. Psychologically, this principle is rooted in the idea of agency, the capacity to act independently and make free choices. When you embrace your role as the architect of your destiny, you reclaim control over your life. This mindset shifts your focus from external forces to internal power. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect and start creating your own conditions. Your mind becomes a workshop, your choices become blueprints, and your actions become the bricks that build your future. Emotionally, this realization is liberating, but also demanding. It means taking full responsibility for where you are and where you are going. No more blaming others, no more waiting for miracles. It requires courage to face the truth that your destiny is not predetermined, but shaped daily by your commitment to your vision. This responsibility can be heavy, but it also fuels empowerment. It means that every setback is a lesson, every failure a chance to redesign and rebuild. Look at the life of Oprah Winfrey. She rose from poverty and trauma to become one of the most influential figures on the planet. How? By deliberately designing her destiny through education, perseverance, and self-belief. She didn't wait for opportunity. She created it. Every choice she made, what to believe, where to focus, who to surround herself with, was a stroke on the blueprint of her destiny. Oprah teaches us that destiny is not a gift. It is a masterpiece crafted by intention. Your mind is the drafting table. Your decisions are the sketches. Your actions are the construction workers. And your destiny is the building you live in. Will you allow it to crumble under neglect, or will you build it strong and beautiful? The power to design a life of meaning, success, and fulfillment lies in your hands. So ask yourself, are you actively shaping your destiny, or are you passively letting life happen to you? What plans are you laying today for the future you want? Every moment is an opportunity to revise your blueprint, to strengthen your foundation, and to build higher than before. Remember, you are not a passenger in your life's journey. You are the architect, the engineer, the master builder. When you accept this truth, you stop living by default and start living by design. Your destiny is waiting. Will you build it? Surround yourself with champions. Your environment shapes your destiny. This lesson is a cornerstone of success that Napoleon Hill understood deeply. You are not an island. Your thoughts, habits, and ambitions are profoundly influenced by the people and circumstances around you. The company you keep acts like fertile soil or barren ground, nourishing your growth or stunting your progress. To rise, you must surround yourself with those who elevate your mind, challenge your limits, and inspire your dreams. Consider Henry Ford, the revolutionary who transformed transportation. His success was not achieved in isolation. Ford deliberately surrounded himself with innovators, thinkers, and relentless doers. These were people who pushed the boundaries of what was possible and refused to accept impossible as an answer. Their energy became the fuel that propelled Ford forward. Without such a circle, his vision might have remained just a dream. His environment shaped the trajectory of his life and legacy. Psychologically, humans are wired to mirror the behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs of those closest to them. This is known as social contagion, the tendency to adopt the emotional states and behaviors of those around us. If you surround yourself with pessimists, doubt will seep into your mind like poison. If your closest influences are complacent, your ambition will wither. But when you choose champions, those who believe in growth, resilience, and excellence, you raise your baseline for what is possible. Your mind adapts, your beliefs expand, and your confidence grows. Emotionally, the people around you set the tone for your inner world. Champions radiate positivity, discipline, and determination. They celebrate your wins and challenge you in your weaknesses. They hold you accountable, refuse to let you settle, and remind you of your worth when you forget. Their presence is a constant reminder that greatness is within reach, fueling your emotional resilience in times of struggle. Look at Oprah Winfrey again, a woman who surrounded herself with mentors, supporters, and visionaries who shaped her journey from hardship to global influence. She understood that her environment had to reflect the person she wanted to become. By choosing to be around those who challenged her intellect and nurtured her spirit, Oprah created a fertile ground for success. This is a lesson for all. Your environment is not just physical, it is emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. The challenge is recognizing when your environment is toxic, when it holds you back, and having the courage to make changes. This may mean distancing yourself from negative influences, or seeking new communities that align with your vision. It means becoming intentional about who you let into your inner circle. So ask yourself, who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire you, push you, and believe in your dreams? Or do they drain your energy, fill your mind with doubt, and limit your vision? Your answers reveal much about the garden you are tending. Remember, champions are not just competitors or peers. They are architects of your potential. Surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you before you see it yourself. Your environment shapes your destiny, so choose it wisely. The future you desire is built not just by your hands, but by the champions who walk beside you. Build a team worthy of your dreams, and watch how far you rise.